Okay, here we go. So we are basically into, I believe, the siding here at Crest. I think the station is literally right here. You can see an old culvert. Oops, GPS is dangling down here. An old culvert that used to be here. I'm guessing this is an old wooden box culvert. Yeah, you can see some timbers here. Right, so this would have been an old box culvert that's all kind of disintegrated and collapsed. Again, it's been, earlier I said the last train ran through here in 1924 and it's been 90 years. It's been 100 years. Wow. Don't tell my wife that. She always ridicules my math skills. But as I'm fond of saying, and there's a reason why I'm a history teacher and not a math teacher. So basically you can see what's left of the box culvert here. I don't know if this is done at the time or if this was done later. You can see there's a bunch of ties that are thrown in here in this creek. So again, I know that this grade was used for logging, in the years afterwards. So again, no idea if that's original or if that was done later on. All right, so here we are at Crest Station. So again, this is where I think Crest Station is. It's really the only logical place. It's where the mileage kind of works out. Again, much easier to walk through here than the last time we were here because of the vegetation and stuff. Things have kind of gone down a bit. It's a little bit easier to see. It's lightening up a little bit. Don't know if it's going to get clear. I hope not. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Crest Station. Let me get rid of my GPS here. All right, let's grab the cheater notes. Now, what's interesting is I actually just got some information about Crest Station literally a couple of weeks ago. Put in an information request from Library and Archives Canada, and this part of my request, like there was a few things I asked for. This one came through in record time. So again, you can kind of see this flat area here. You can see kind of this width here. Again, I don't know if that was what was originally here or if that was done afterwards, but it does look like there would have been something here. So again, Crest was an original station on the line. We've mentioned before that Grand Trunk Pacific like to use an alphabetical naming pattern for their stations. So this would have been the third station on the line, the C station, so Alba, Baird, Crest, Dona. This station was located at, there was several different mileages, but milepost 20.9 on the Grand Trunk Pacific and milepost 20.5 on the Graham Subdivision. So what we think is a Grand Trunk Type E station was located here. That was one of the mysteries, was there a station here and what kind of station it was. And basically that document I got from Library and Archives Canada, and I'll kind of show you that. Basically it mentions the type of station, and it says that the exact same type of station was located at Dona, and we know that Dona had a Grand Trunk Type E. So I'm guessing that based on that, it was the same here. So there was a station located here, along with a tool shed and a 3,466-foot siding. And then again, this station was abandoned along with the rest of the Crest Subdivision in the spring of 1925. Here we're starting to come alongside the Canadian Pacific Kansas City line. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So again, you can see this open area here. I have no idea where the station would have been located. Again, you just sort of see this big wide open area. It could have been back up over there, right? Again, I'm assuming the siding was on the side here, right? But I mean, there's not really, because it was abandoned so long ago, there's not really any decent maps of this, right? There is one map, and then basically some maps showing the abandoned line. So maybe what we'll do is we'll pause here for a moment, and we'll show you some maps and some timetables, and I'll show you that document with information about the station. Okay, here we go. Let's resume our journey. So we have this nice little kind of open area here, and again you can see the CPKC line down there, and then we're going to get back into the grown-in areas. Unfortunately, this is not as bad as over there, because again, over there is kind of a little bit swampier. This is not as bad. The only problem here we start running into is we start running into washouts where there were culverts on big embankments, and they get washed out, and so then we have to kind of go down and come back up, and that's not particularly awesome. There's a partridge right in there. Luna, you see the partridge? No, it buggered off. So again, here you can really see how this area was likely used as a road in the years after the line was pulled up, because you can basically see the width. You can see there's ruts from the vehicles. Again, some spots are not bad to walk through, and some spots are a bit of a disaster. Like, again, with those washouts, and then some spots are like really, really grown in with this kind of stuff, right? A lot of coniferous trees and such, and not particularly easy to walk through. Maybe it's a little bit different now that it's not summer, but during the summer it wasn't pretty. On the lookout, see if we see any things like telegraphs and poles and stuff. It was weird, the other section that we did, so the section further to the west where we're basically going to end today's hike, I went through that entire section, and you're literally again walking through area like this where, you know, people generally don't seem to have kind of come through in a long time, and didn't see a single telegraph pole, anything, right? Which is just very unusual. You would think that they would have probably left those, but maybe they were salvaged, or, you know, maybe it's been 100 years, so maybe they're just so far gone that you're not going to see anything. So here we have, what's the dog sniffing? What used to be an old culvert. So probably an old wooden box culvert in here that is basically deteriorated. You can see the ditching work that Grand Trunk did. So you can see some very, very pronounced ditching on this side here. You see this a lot in areas of the grade. And then again, you can see the tracks of the Canadian Pacific Kansas City line. So that is the Kaministiquia subdivision, which basically runs from Thunder Bay west to Ignace, 147 miles. We'll see if we see any traffic today. A couple weeks ago, so not this past weekend, the weekend before, we were out and there was a crazy amount of traffic on the line. So this line is double tracked all the way past Wraith, which was also stationed on this line. But like the one morning, there had to be 6-7 trains, and it was a Sunday morning, and usually Sundays are quieter on this line, but I guess there's a lot of business, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of trains pulling in grain to Thunder Bay. So yeah, it was quite the noisy accompaniment. So we'll see if we get any visitors today. Again, it would have been sort of neat to see the two trains running side by side, especially in those early years. And again, really speaks of the situation here. So basically when this line was built, this was the third line that was built through the area. And so you originally had the Canadian Pacific line, which was built in the 1870s. Then you had the Canadian Northern line, which was built in 1899, 1902. And so this was the third one. And the problem is that by this point, the sort of really good routes of egress out of Thunder Bay were gone, because there is a substantial climb out of Thunder Bay, you know, up to this point and beyond, right? So Thunder Bay is just around 600 feet, or just slightly above 600 feet around sea level. Maybe I'll show you a map here. And then Crest Station is considerably higher. I think Crest is, let's look here. I don't remember how many feet above sea level Crest is. Do we have some cell service here? Yep. Okay, what's Crest? Crest is 1084, and basically the West Fort William station, or the Mission Terminal, is 615 feet. So literally, we've climbed well over 400 feet in 20 miles, right? So there's a substantial incline to this grade. And so that was one of the big challenges that you had, right? Was trying to mitigate all the grades, because again, this was not the most ideal route for this line, right? I mean, they had to sort of make do with, like the dog here, squirrel. Just seeing if that kind of jumped out at me here. There's kind of a flat area in here, which is kind of a little interesting. So again, all grade mitigation, and that's why you saw the initial kind of cutting that we came through, and then you're going to see more cuttings in this area, and then, like I said, the section past here is even crazier with the amount of cutting work that they had to do to get the grade right on the line. Okay, let's hold up here for a second, and then let's continue working our way west.